My name is Noah Finestone, and it's a pleasure to be introducing the theme and topic of updates in monitoring, sensing, and reporting technologies. Now, as you can see on my wrist, I own a fitness tracker because I'm trying to improve my health, and these days it's all about tracking how many steps you do during the day and how many calories you eat. Because if you want the best results, you have to be recording data. In the same way, agriculture is becoming all about data. We live in an ever-changing world where artificial intelligence in the food industry, more specifically precision agriculture, is growing very rapidly. Now, the easiest way to understand this concept is to think of it simply as making farming more accurate and efficient through technology when growing crops and breeding livestock. This great advancement is being driven by the need for sustainability. How do we meet the needs of today without degrading our common future? When 13% of the population is undernourished, when 1/3 of the food produced every year is either damaged or wasted, when 70% of the world's fresh water are committed to agriculture, we desperately need technologies that can help feed the world with new efficiency. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Giorgio Venceslai. I'm working in ISMEA, and first of all, I want to thank the organization for the opportunity, also on behalf of my General Director, Mr. Borriello. Well, my presentation today will mainly focus about precision agriculture and what is the role of ISMEA in precision agriculture. Just some words about ISMEA. ISMEA is a state entity. It was established in 1987 in order to collect qualitative and quantitative information from rural markets in Italy. It's supervised by the Ministry of Agriculture and works on behalf of the ministry. As you can see, in the last years, we had some acquisitions, mergers, incorporation, and currently, this is what we do. We still collect, because it's our historical activity, we still collect quantitative information from rural markets, but we also support young people to start a new activity up. Also, we manage 2 guarantee funds, and we release Basel II compliant guarantees for rural credit. Then, we test innovative insurance products, and we cooperate, lastly, with the ministry in the implementation of European programs. We provide technical assistance. Well, let's move to precision agriculture. What is it? It's a management concept that helps the farmer to have a better outcome with the same resources, or the same outcome with fewer resources. And this can be done observing, measuring, and responding, and using a decision support system that helps the farmer to act in the best moment, doing the best thing in the right place. As you can see, we have a process in which there is data collection, a data processing, and decision and implementation of the actions. And also we have the output that at least must regard the goals to be achieved, the actions to be implemented, possible investment plans, and crop simulation models or recommendation plans. This is just an example. You see some maps, soil stratification, soil stoniness, and so on. And those maps are loaded in the dashboard of the machine. And this is an example, fertilizer or seeder machine. And they are driven by the satellite. Of course, the farm needs innovative machine pool and data collection technology. But precision agriculture ensures productivity enhancement, cost reduction, and growth in marginality. What we have software now, we have machineries, and we have systems. We still need connected systems and also cross-skilled human resources, able to combine different experiences: chemistry, agronomy, software. Let's skip to the role of ISMEA. Just imagine if all the Italian farms could use precision agriculture. We'd have a better credit access, better insurance policies, environmental sustainability, and corporate competitiveness. So, all these things need specialized resources, knowledge, and technology, but we all know that this is a relevant investment that must be implemented to get those goals. And we all know that it's very difficult for a small farm to afford this kind of investment, and especially waiting for the return on investment. And in Italy, 98% of the farms are small, and they are not able to invest. So this is why ISMEA focused on precision agriculture and decided to do something for precision agriculture. Basically, we want to make precision agriculture available for all the farms, for small business. And our idea is move from investment to services. So create a service provider that can deliver precision agriculture services to the farms and for a rate, for an annual fee. And we established a partnership with Bonifica Ferraresi in 2017, and the name of the partnership is IBF Servizi, ISMEA Bonifica Ferraresi Servizi, with this vision: deliver precision agricultural services to a significant number of small farms. Few last bricks about my presentation. First of all, precision agriculture is not a surrogate of the farmer. It just helps the farmer take the right decision. And precision agriculture is relevant for the farms, but it's also relevant, a potential for a system. So this is why ISMEA is involved in precision agriculture. And this is why we established the partnership, IBF Servizi, because we want to deliver high-tech, low-price services to all the farms in Italy in order to improve the system performances. That is it for me. Thank you very much for your attention.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today I would like to talk about the precision agriculture and the new goals of agricultural sector, and how precision agriculture can be a useful tool to reach them. In fact, precision agriculture leads to some benefits. For example, agronomic benefits, such as enhancing crop yield, high standard quality level, and even increase efficiency use of input. Besides, economic benefits are related to increasing working capacity and decrease the machine's payback period. On the other hand, precision agriculture allows to obtain high net income. Finally, from the energetic and environmental point of view, precision agriculture allows to obtain high energetic efficiency and mitigate the CO2 emission on the atmosphere. But in order to apply this approach, a know-how is required, and that is characterized by different levels. The first one is the implementation of machines with variable rate technologies, for example, sprayers, planters, fertilizers, and also automatic steering guidance system. The second step is data collection, multi-source data collection, such as electrical soil mapping, historical yield map, or telemetry for machines. Finally, the processing of all of this data and the analysis of this data leads to define the best strategies to apply to each field. But sometimes this know-how could be one of these steps can be a gap for farms, and this gap is gained by IBF Servizi, that you probably know because my previous speaker already talked about that. But let's talk about the approach of IBF Servizi. IBF Servizi has a systemic approach in order to transfer its background to every farms. It starts analyzing the structure of the farm and defining all the goals of the farms. Then the operation of the data collection is occurred. After the analysis is defined the managing operation which is validated over the time. But now let me show you about a case study of the implementation of IBF Servizi approach on the biggest Italian farm called Bonifiche Ferraresi, which has a very complex structure, and its goals are to have a circular economy and to get the possibility to track all the production chain. We start the operation defining all the boundaries of the fields of the farm. Then we perform the electrical resistivity mapping, and thanks to the resistivity map, we obtain a selective soil sample analysis, which are able to, with which soil samples we perform the physicochemical analysis. Then we overlap. We put before all the other information layers, for example, crop calendar, satellite image, and also yield maps, in order to define homogeneous zone. The defined homogeneous zone have two different features. The first one is the spatial stability, and the second one is temporal stability in terms of productive potential and soil feature. Thanks to these homogeneous zone features, we defined the pre-sowing fertilizer application rate and the variable rate application of seed density for each crop grown in the farms. Consequently, after the sowing operation, we monitored all the crop cycle, getting the Sentinel-2 mission satellite images that which we stored this image. So we had two different advantages. The first one is a database related to the monitoring all the crop cycle. The other one was to use this information as an additional information level in order to define managing strategies, especially fertilizer application, for example, nitrogen, and the site-specific application for disease and pest control. Even in this case, the integration of data related to weather station was useful to perform site-specific application. The same approach was used for irrigation. In fact, knowing the soil feature and implementing all the homogeneous zone with weather station and proximal moisture soil sensor, we defined the timing of irrigation and the amount of water to apply to each homogeneous zone. However, thanks to satellite image, we were able also to define area affected by irrigation stress, water stress, I'm sorry. Additionally, thanks to the yield mapping system implemented on the combines, we were able to define an analysis in order to validate the approach that we carried out to each homogeneous zone, thanks to the yield maps. Additionally, even the new yield maps were useful, became an additional information layer to define the next management strategies for the next year. Finally, all the managing operation were tracked thanks to the telemetry technology, and they were stored on a web portal in order to allowing to track each operation, each managing operation. In this way, we reached all the two of the goals of the Bonifiche Ferraresis farm. In fact, thanks to all of this information layer, it is possible to track even a package of pasta. We can use a QR code, which it has a code that it describes the site of where the wheat was grown, where the wheat grown. All the information related to the field, and even the managing operation carried out on each field, in order to have the high resolution traceability of each primary production of the Bonifiche Ferraresis farm. Consequently, considering the agronomic benefits related to precision agriculture, this graph shows the increasing in crop yield, the average crop yield increasing thanks to the adoption of precision agriculture. As you can see, 14% of increasing in crop yield was detected. In the same way, the production costs were less than uniform rate application, and for each items characterizing the crop cycle. For example, harvesting or fertilization and soil tillage. It is about 7.5%. And then it leads to an increase in net income. In some crops, for example, corn, it reached 30% more than uniform rate application. Then, from the energetic point of view, the total input of the managing operation and the input applied to each crops decrease of about 6.5% of total energetic input. It led to an increase in energy efficiency of 16%, and finally, considering the CO2 emission of crop production, it's possible to see that precision agriculture allows to mitigate carbon emission related to mechanization of 25% and 12% of total emission of primary production. Thank you for
Good afternoon to everyone. I'm here for Blue IT. Blue IT is a service provider in IT industry, and Be Digital is the innovation lab of Blue IT. I'm here to talk to you about how augmented intelligence or artificial intelligence can help the agri-food industry to gain more control and sustainability. And in case you're wondering, I'm the short one on the right side. And the reason why I'm showing you this picture is because it's the very moral of my story. So I hope that you can just have the patience to wait until the end, because you want to know the moral of the story. So we are hearing a lot about Agri-Food 4.0 or the revolution, but what is happening? So this is the question that we made ourselves, because we are technology experts, specifically in augmented intelligence and industrial IoT. So what is happening is that from one side, we as people or families or consumers want healthy food and high quality products. And this is a very growing demand. It's a global trend, specifically in developing countries. From the other side, I'm sure that you can observe also yourself that there's a growing use or leverage from agri-food producers about technology and digital innovation in the crops. So the reason that this revolution is taking place right now is that you have many forces on this industry from the consumer side, producer side, other stakeholders, and also a very huge technology convergence. We are technology experts, so we decided to go in deep in this point. So we think that this is the moment for the revolution in agri-food. But if it's so easy, what's the problem? The problem is that producing food, especially high quality products and healthy food, is still very hard work. If you just go in deep, you discover that the cost structure is very, very, very rigid. So when you want to produce high quality products on a large scale, you face a situation in which producers struggle with profitability. So this is the perfect moment and the perfect situation in which technology can make a change. What we did, we decided to combine drones with high-resolution cameras and GPS sensors to have georeference images of the crops. And we use IBM Watson artificial intelligence, specifically the visual recognition API, to do image analysis. Why? Because as you are seeing from the demo, which is a real test campaign that we did on a field here near Milan, we want to spot directly the insect, the insect attack on the field. And it works. So the idea is that we are experts in technology and in services. So we think that precision farming as a service could be something that can help the agri-food industry. Imagine drones going around, flying over crops, and getting the images so that they can give a daily report to the producer with the risk level of disease or insect attacks. And based on this, the producer or the agronomist can decide to send other operative drones to put the treatments exactly where and when is needed. Okay, it's clear? So it's precision farming as a service. You don't have to have your own drones, your own technology. You just pay for a service. And what is the outcome? The outcome is that doing so, producers can have much higher control on the crops, and this can allow them to reduce the use of water, the use of treatment, and so having a very big impact on both cost, if you want, from one side, but also on sustainability from the other side, which is something that for us is very important. We did some other tests, and now we are currently just finished the test campaign using a training, again, IBM Watson, to recognize some disease of the vine crops. We did it on, because it's easy, on 1,000 basil plants directly in our offices, which it seems weird for an IT company, but it's what we did. And it works. We can do the same that you do in manufacturing, so you can do predictive maintenance on your crops. And what is the result of that? I'm very happy to show you this for two reasons. One, because it's us, and second, because we think that Italy has a great role and opportunity in putting innovation in agri-food industry, because we know what healthy food is, high-quality products in agri-food is, and we think that we can say something to the world and help the world to have the same level of quality all over. So this from one side, so you can have some details here. We participated to an IBM competition, which is called Watson Build. It was a call for any business partner all over the world to try to use AI for some specific industry to solve some problem. So we won the selection in Europe, so we have the European title, but then we went to New York City and we won also the global title. So we are the world champion in Watson technology. And this is very interesting because this is what we think that we have to do as technology expert. Specifically, we want to make clear that we have a great power in that moment because technology is very advanced, but we want to make you remember that with augmented intelligence comes augmented responsibility. So what we think is that we still think that technology and innovation are meant to change the world for the better. So that's why we wanted to do something for all producers all over the world. And this is the picture. So for anybody of you that is curious about the moral, this is the moral.
Take a short and tall man's picture. Turn back to back, back to back, back to back. High five. Now I'm gonna come down and give you a chest. All right, very cool.
Okay, why this is the moral? Because you can imagine it was quite a strange and crazy idea, spotting an insect from a drone flying over a crop. It was really extreme. But we wanted to use technology to solve some real problem for the sustainability of the planet. So why this is the moral? Because the moral of the story is for the ones that believe in innovation and technology as a leverage to change the world for the better, magic can happen. Thank you.
Every aspect of our modern-day lives has been impacted by technology. From AI to robotics and cloud computing, every single part of our lives has been inextricably tied to the technology that surrounds us. Now, farming and technology may not be the first combination that you think of when you think of technology. However, it has changed the face of agriculture and has certainly changed our global food system. Now, with climate change, resource degradation, water scarcity, and a growing population, we absolutely must change the way that we are growing our food and start really driving towards making it much more productive, much more sustainable, and much more efficient. Now, when it comes to technology, there's different ways in which we can apply it. I think when it comes to advances, we must be able to pair together ecologically driven precision agriculture to be able to make the way that we produce our food much more productive. And I think this is the greatest potential with agricultural advances moving forward. So when it comes to our approach, we combine all of the technology that is needed to be able to make farming much more efficient, much more productive, and more environmentally beneficial in one deliverable system. And our approach to this combines all of the core components needed for an off-grid 2-acre farm in one system that can act as a micro-infrastructure. Basically, the way that it operates is 3 kilowatts of solar panel energy basically turns the system into its own microgrid. So whether it's acting in an urban area or in a really remote region, it's its own microgrid that can act independent of any grid access. Drip irrigation helps save water, extend the growing season, and also stabilize crops throughout drought conditions. Internal cold storage also helps keep those crops fresher longer while reducing post-harvest losses by as much as 80%. We've also connected each system with Wi-Fi capabilities so that the farm has its own hotspot and farmers have their own internet access. So one of the important components about this is that we started to look at how we could combine all of these core components and marry them so that the farmer has much more control over the systems and can drive more operational efficiency. Through that, we started looking into developing out our precision agriculture arm. So because each system has Wi-Fi capabilities, we were able to integrate a cloud-based IoT system so that we could monitor and track the on-farm efficiencies while also making sure that we're using energy and water usage as wisely as we possibly could. By integrating sensors into each one of those core components, we can also track our water usage, our energy usage, but give the farmer much more control to be able to make the farm itself much easier to run. Those sensors, we've also programmed to be able to provide alerts to the farmers. Now, one of the questions is, how would alerts be able to benefit the farmer? Let's say that you're a farmer and you just harvested all of your tender leafy greens and you put them into the cold storage unit to be able to keep them fresher longer before your buyer comes to the farm and purchases them. Well, the next day, let's say you are attending your daughter's graduation or maybe attending a conference in Milan and a heat wave hits. You get an alert on your phone or your email that says, wait a minute, the temperature inside of the cold storage system has increased from 32 to 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Now we call this an FYI alert. It's designed to give the farmer notifications and information of what's happening at the on-farm level. So if the temperature continues to rise, not only does our data control system provide that alert, but it will also automatically turn on the cooler so that it brings the temperature down and can help crop loss happening directly in the field and in that cooler space. So if you choose to not necessarily agree with whatever this automation is, you can pull up from your web-based portal and be able to override that information and make a change if that's what it is that you feel like doing. So the flexibility is there for the farmer. Now, we know technology for technology's sake is not a standalone solution at all. But if we combine the right technology and the right data, it can really make a powerful movement for the farmer to be able to increase efficiency, but also help with crop loss that happens and drive more profitability. Let me give you another example of how this can be used. We have started an urban farm with the International Rescue Committee. And we're working with resettled farmers from Bhutan and Nepal as refugees and helping get them back on their feet again through community farming and business training. And Farm from a Box comes in and provides the infrastructure to be able to support that. Now, in my home state of California, and certainly in many other locations around the world, water scarcity is a big, big problem. So inefficiencies in irrigation and water management can basically make or break a farm, aside from the environmental impacts and what it is it can do for profitability. So we're all familiar with the power of drip irrigation. When compared to traditional irrigation systems, drip irrigation can save upwards of 60% of water savings. Now, when we pair that together with sensing technology, we can drive that efficiency up even more. So what we have done on this particular farm is we have put humidity sensors in all of the different fields on the farm. When those humidity sensors drop to a certain level of dryness, the data controller ends up turning on the pump automatically. It opens the solenoids that go out to that particular field, and the crops are watered precisely when they need it and precisely where they need it. Now, efficiencies like this, what we have found is it saved another 20% on the water usage for the IRC. That's a huge environmental impact, but that also helps drive the profitability and the expenses for the actual farmer. So precision agriculture, when used in this ecologically driven way, can also help really impact and drive the economics of the farm. And that's something that we really need to make sure that we're doing, rather than repeating history and just trying to grow more by adding more and adding more. By using it as a regenerative system, it can really help improve productivity and improve the on-farm efficiencies. So another example of how to use this is we recently teamed up with the United Nations World Food Program to launch one of these farms in Tanzania on the far western border of Tanzania near the Congo. So because this farm is operating in such a remote location, information access becomes absolutely vital to make sure that the farm is functioning the way that it needs to be and that the farmers have support as needed. So what we have done with this is, since each one of these farms has that Wi-Fi capability, our cloud-based IoT system ends up providing open data access to not only the community, but also to the World Food Program, so that everyone can see exactly what's happening on the farm and can make decisions from that point forward. Now, the important thing about using sensing technology in this way is that it can ease the path forward for technology transfer and also for training and ongoing maintenance. By using the data system, and tracking what the productivity is of remote farms, it can also unlock the potential for connecting those farmers with financial opportunities that they need to be able to grow as farmers and better their lives. If we look at this from the funder's perspective, whether this is private funding, public funding, this ends up increasing the transparency so that you know what's going on with the project, you can track what's going on with the project, and you have a much better idea in terms of what the return on those investments are. So when we combine regenerative farming practices, and I want to emphasize regenerative farming practices because all too often precision agriculture can get bulked together with much more industrialized solutions, and that's certainly not the basis of what it is that we're after. But precision agriculture used in a regenerative model can really help provide a clean system for farmers to be able to produce more in a clean way with healthier systems that will last for the long run. And instead of using an extractive, more industrialized way, this can actually help boost both profitability and biodiversity, which is what we really need to happen globally. So technology is simply a tool. And one of the important things for us to remember is that tool is up for our direction in terms of how it is that we want to be able to really direct that. So we believe every single person on this planet deserves access to healthy, nutrient-rich food that has been grown in a sustainable way, and every farmer should be able to grow food in a safe, environmentally beneficial way while also providing for the needs of themselves and their families. So as we're walking around and we're looking at these different technologies, let's really think about how it is that we can apply these technologies for the betterment of people, planet, and profits worldwide. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good day. It's my pleasure and honor to be here for the third time in Seed and Chips. And for the first time ever in public, today I'm going to talk with you about ecosystem based on artificial intelligence, Raman spectroscopy, and blockchain, which we are developing right now. And ecosystem which disrupts hundreds of billions of dollars of food counterfeiting industry. But at the beginning, let's keep it simple. And I love Italian food, I love Italian wine, oils, so I took a couple of examples which should be closer to Italian business industry. And there are some interesting numbers. For example, some guys who does the math have calculated that to counterfeit the oil, profit margin is about 2.5 times higher than to do a cocaine. Logistic is easier. it's faster, and at the end of the day, you'll spend just less years in a hotel with the breakfast and dinner. It's about $5 billion worth Italian fake oil is circulating all around the globe. It's kind of huge. And there is also a new term which calls agri-mafia. Italian one, of course, and those guys has gathered up, and instead of doing some guns, prostitution, or drug business, they all moved to food counterfeiting. So the trends are dangerous. It's getting bigger and bigger. And for example, in the States, around 69–70% of all Italian extra virgin olive oil comes as a fake one. So try to imagine, 2/3 of all olive oil in the States are fake. It's kind of difficult. Maybe you remember a couple of years ago when one of the colleagues said that it was a horse meat scandal in Europe when they found horse meat in different kind of meatballs, dumplings, and stuff like that, instead of the pork or beef. This is also kind of serious issue, and I could continue on and on. But one of the examples which I like most is every single year, annually, Europol and Interpol join the force and initiates the operation which calls OPSON. OPSON has a mission to fight against the counterfeited food, and only last year they have found 49 criminal networks across the Europe which does the business in the food counterfeiting industry. Hundreds of millions of worth of food has been seized, and I was looking at the statistic for 5 years of the OPSON because it's annually. The numbers are getting higher and higher every single year. So the trend goes there that talking about the luxury food, it's getting faked more and more. And I'm not touching the wine and stuff like that also. Now, do we need to care about that? And does that problem touches us? Well, me personally, yes, because when I'm paying 20 or 30 euros for Italian oil, I want to get Italian oil, not Moroccan or Egyptian or cheap one. When I'm traveling to China and buying dumplings on the street, I want to know that I'm eating pork, not the rat meat. When I'm buying some kind of meat in Europe, I want to know what kind of meat it is. And one of the examples are with the horses, right? So I'm not about the horse. I'm not against them. I love horse steaks. But the problem is because when we are eating illegal brought and delivered meats, we don't know how the animal was treated, what kind of antibiotics he used, and all these things can impact our health. If to talk about the Asia, maybe you know there is a chemical substance called formaldehyde, and in actual life, people and dead bodies are being kept in formaldehyde. But Asians found out a good idea. Before they ship fishes to Europe and the States, they wash the fishes with a formaldehyde. Inside itself, formaldehyde can cause up to 27 different kind of cancer cases. So it means that we physically program ourselves by consuming different kind of foods to get some foodborne illnesses. And it's serious. It's dangerous. Now, there are few models how nations, governments, and society are trying to fight counterfeited food. One, and I think the prime one, is governmental and private laboratories, which does the checkings and checks any kind of food which comes there. I'm talking about the origin of the food. Also, many startups and technological companies, some of them are even here in the Seeds and Chips. They are doing a lot of, and right now a lot of capital is moving in food traceability, supply chain management, and stuff like that. So these are main two, I would say, criteria and the ways how it's being managed. But there are two main issues. Firstly, when we are talking about the guys, the people who are faking the food, nobody is pouring bad oil in a bottle. Nobody is faking bottle by bottle. when we are talking about huge quantities and huge amounts, it's being done in the ships, it's being done in the factories, and anywhere where it's a huge scale and volumes. What I want to say is that those solutions based on, let's say, QR codes on the bottles, some kind of barcodes on boxes, it doesn't work. Because actually, we don't need to track the packaging. We don't need to track the bottle. We want to understand what is inside. So food traceability, I would question it a lot. And other thing is that when the laboratories are doing referential methods to check the food origin, the biggest bottleneck is the time, because one sample usually takes up to 1 week. And when we are talking about the ships waiting in the ports, or trucks waiting by the custom border to get some data about whether they can access the country or no, it's too long. That's why the laboratories can afford themselves to do not a lot of sampling, and this is an issue. That's why it's kind of easy to move the counterfeited goods across the globe. Now, we are going to change it in a way that our ecosystem, as I said before, will allow every single stakeholder, let's take example the laboratory, right, to scan any kind of product which was brought in the laboratory by using the spectrometer, to put the data of that reading in our neural network, and to receive back the certificate about the origin of the food. I'm talking about quantities of something inside, quality, and the actual origin. Let's say example, the laboratory takes a bottle of Italian extra virgin oil, it scans it, and it receives back the result that it's virgin Moroccan olive oil. Afterward, everyone can make a decision and, to take some actions to move forward. The way how we are doing the system right now and how we are developing is that we are training the neural networks by filling a lot and feeding a lot of data about the ethalones and standards of different kind of products. If I will continue topic with the oil, then I would say example that we are training the system how to identify oil from Morocco, oil from Egypt, oil from Tunisia, oil from different Italian regions, how to understand what kind of oil is extra virgin, what is virgin, and etc., etc. And we are going to do that with many different kind of products. So it means that the neural system became self-learned and self-educated technology, and it's being able to learn every single day by getting more and more data inside that. After processing the data, it just tells you what it actually is by the molecular peaks in the data readings. The beauty about the ecosystem is that in that ecosystem, everyone has their own stakes or roles, I would say in this way. So the first one is end users who want to get the result, what it is. They just scan, send to the neural network, receive result. Fake, not fake, what it is actually. We developed a model that any kind of interested party in the world, for example, 100 Chinese people in China, says to the system that we are ready to invest money and someone needs to teach the artificial intelligence system to identify rat meat. Any kind of laboratory in the world can do the job, take the money, and there will be a new service in the system, rat meat detection. So it means that our ecosystem can be trained by any interested party in the world talking about any kind of food products. And even though the miners, as you know, there are a lot of cryptocurrency miners in the world, they just burn the electricity, so we are going to distribute resource system for those miners, and all those guys will learn and train our neural system. So first time in the world, the mining itself gets some kind of point. It's not just electricity burning. And to sum up what I am talking about is we are creating a system where it's impossible to fake data about fake food, and stakeholders can be any interested party from the world who initiates what kind of other products has to be stopped talking about the food counterfeiting in the future. So thank you so much. We have a booth, G1. If you have some further questions, just come by. Thanks.
afternoon, everyone. I'm a researcher of National Council Research in Italy, and since 2007 I work on precision agriculture, especially on viticulture, with many farms on Italian territory. In this presentation, I will show you something about precision agriculture concept, and next I will show you some results of my research team in the field of precision agriculture. One of my best definition of the precision agriculture is this one. They apply the right treatment in the right place at the right time with the right amount. A very simple definition, but I think it resumes the, the concept of the precision farming. Why? Due to the variability. Variability is the key word of the precision farming. Variability is due to soil, water availability, disease, microclimate condition. We can affect the field, and inside the field we can find difference in the vegetative growth of the plant, even if within a few meters. So the knowledge of the variability allow to optimize the practice inside the crop management, and allow to apply a site-specific management to fix it to the real necessity of each plant inside a field. Precision farming doesn't mean necessary digital technology. It's more a management approach. Also in this case, you can see some picture. There are historically mainstay of the agriculture, a little family farm where the owner, the farmer, live and work full time inside his farm with his family. And he know everything about the field. So he doesn't need sensors, a drone, satellite, or on-the-go machine to understand the variability. And he can apply a site-specific management also without digital instrumentation. However, today the agriculture is changed. And between many causes, one, I think the main cause is the increased food demand. So agriculture have to respond to the demand of the population in terms of food. And another way, another side, you can see the valuable crop production. And the market competition asks always even more high-level quality standard. So there is a need of technology. And in this case, we need to optimize the efficiency of the production in terms of yield, quality, cost reduction, always with an eye to the sustainability. What about the technology? There are a lot of kind of technology in precision farming. First of all, the GPS. The GPS is the mainly technology that mounted of sensing machine help to map variability, and equipped on ground machine help to site-specific treatment. After the GPS, we have the family of the sensing. Mobile sensing, such as on-the-go machine or drone, satellite, aircraft, or static proximal sensing technologies, such as crop sensing or weather sensing, or trap for disease monitoring with RGB camera and wireless communication. All these sensing technology are allow to acquire a lot of data which will be elaborated with the DSS and big data tool analysis, geostatistical approach analysis, and give the output to allow a site-specific treatment. And there are the variable rate technology, the smart irrigation solution. There are agbot, robots in agriculture that can monitor and site-specific do a treatment. And everything is connected with the IoT concept, I can communicate fast. So the sensing, the elaboration, and the actuation can be rapidly connected. What about our research topic in my institute? With my research team, I work with UAV satellite remote sensing. We developed the wireless sensor network for proximal sensing monitoring, the model development specifically for cereal crops, field phenotyping, especially with drone and phenotyping studies, and the variable rate technology. We are working on a prototype of a drone that can done a site-specific treatment on the field. Some of our recent research. This is the Efesto prototype. It's a very small drone, very small. Is about 15 minutes of autonomy, and the specific characteristics of this drone is that it is ready to fly. It can be transported easy in this black box, ready to fly, and mount 3 sensors. The multispectral camera that allow to investigate the chlorophyll efficiency, photosynthetic activity. So we give the famous NDVI map, the vigor map of the field. Another sensor is the thermal camera, which give information about the thermal infrared response of the plant, the surface temperature of the canopy, which give information about the water stress of the crops. And another sensor is the RGB camera. It's very simple, but which with the new photogrammetric software solution, it could give important feedback about the canopy structure, and it's very useful for the management of the canopy. And this is another study which was done on August last year, which we used a drone, the drone that I said before, the Efesto drone, and we fly with a 45-degree camera angle. We acquire information about the fruit zone of the vineyard or the vine in the vineyard. And with the high resolution camera, we can acquire very resolute image. We can see the grapes, the bunch. With image software analysis, we can extract the bunch. We can count the bunch, and we can identify a size of each class, so we can perform a yield map based on the real presence of the fruit in field, and also we can acquire information about the quality, because we can extract the color indices, and we can have a proxy about the ripeness of the bunch, which was very useful for the farmer. Another, the last result that I will show you. This is the AgroSat platform, which was finished in this between February and March this year. Is a free service. Is a decision support system that we develop by our own in collaboration with Barilla Groups, and for now is related to cereal crops. And it works only on the Italy surface. We use the free image of the Sentinel-2 as a platform mission. They are very important. The very goal of this Copernicus mission is that the images are free, so everybody can acquire this information, but it's not so easy. So we perform this service, which everyone can go to the www.agrosat.it without login, with any platform, any browser. I can analyze the variability inside his own field. For now, only for cereal. The other crops are obscured, but in the future we add other crops. 10 meters spatial resolution, high level of temporal resolution. Every week we have a map. We download the map, we upload the map inside our server, and everybody can see the feedback. In Italy, only 1% of the agricultural surface use precision farming tool. We would like to improve this use of this technology and help the owner, the farmer. This is the. I'm ready to. This is the interface. You can look for find your field. You can draw a polygon, very easy. You can choose the date of the survey of the satellite. It's about 2-4 months. I think is quite sure. You can choose the RGB or NDVI layers. You have the NDVI map of your field for free. And next, thanks to our knowledge in serial algorithm and model, we elaborate an algorithm to perform a yield map. So the NDVI map give information to have a yield map. You can export this yield map with georeferenced information. Next, you can choose your dose of fertilizer. If you like to use 100 unit of nitrogen for hectare, you set it 100. And next, with the concept of precision button, you can generate a fertilizer precision map that spatializes the fertilizer in function of the real need of the plant, and you can export the precision map and use on the variable rate technology system. You can also move inside the map with a GPS of the mobile system. This is my team. Sorry for the extended time. Thank you for this presentation.
Hi, hello everybody. I'm very pleased to be here in front of you today. My name is Giorgio Licciardi, and I work for this company, which name is Ipazia. We are a firm, and our main activity is in the scouting of startups, mainly involved in space, and also technological evaluation of small and medium enterprise. Today, in collaboration with the Italian Space Agency and the European Space Agency, we would like to give you some hints on how to do business with space technology. In particular, today, I will present this program that we manage on behalf of the European Space Agency that is called Business Application. Business Application is a funding scheme devoted to people that would like to develop application or products that make use of space data or space technology and are commercially viable. What we give to you, we give zero equity funding from 60K up to more than 2 million. We give support for a tailored project management, and we also give you access to a huge pool of partners. This is very important because since you have to develop an application that should be commercially viable, it is important to have access to a pool of potential users. Moreover, there is another important thing that at the end of the project, European Space Agency gives you the possibility to use their logo as a support of your project. This will increase your credibility. There are several ways to access this kind of financing program, depending mainly from the technological readiness level of the project you propose. You can start from 60K, as said, up to 3 million. Usually you can reply to some calls on specific thematics, but you can also propose your own project directly to ESA. Well, we said we use space technology. Basically, every one of us already use space technology. We have in our pocket with GPS every day, but we also have access to satellite communication with TV-SAT. But there is also Earth observation. There's plenty of satellite up there monitoring and sensing the health of our planet. And another kind of technology is a so-called spaceflight technology in support of astronauts, basically in the International Space Station. Well, our firm this year decided to support technology ideas devoted to agri-tech. This basically because we are talking about 5 trillion global industry, but also because we are running out of resources. So it is important to manage all these resources. For instance, we are going to running out of water used for agriculture. So space can give you information on how to not waste water. By the way, there are different types of users that can take advantage of this kind of applications. For instance, if you have a big farm, you can have information from space data about future weather condition. You can choose when to start the season, or what to grow and when. You can also reduce your insurance premium depending on the quality of the data. But also small farms, family farms, can take advantages from this kind of information. For instance, you can have, and you already see, you can have information about where to irrigate and how to distribute the fertilization. This means that you can maximize the efficiency and reduce the cost also for the small business. Let's have a small description of the typical application that can be exploited using space data. For instance, with the geopositioning and navigation system, you can have control, and you can have remote unmanned harvester to operate in large fields, but you can also operate small drones that are doing mapping or surveying of small fields. Other kind of applications are mainly related to weather prediction that is based on Earth observation. So with weather prediction, you can decide when and where to grow the crops, so you can increase the production of the crops. And moreover, there are other kind of applications that combine 2 or more technologies. For instance, we have this example of cattle tracking. Imagine that you have some devices applied to your cows that measure temperature and also measure the location through GPS. So combining GPS and, for instance, in area where there is no land coverage of data, you can use satellite connection to send information about the health status of the animals real time, anywhere. So large managerial livestock can have information on how to rescue animal in disease, or maybe to prevent robbery. Other kind of application, also in this case, combine 2 different types of space technologies. For instance, Earth observation and geolocalization in order to, like in this case, in order to predict where will be the next fish-killing phytoplankton bloom. So fisheries can have a forecast where this problem will rise and can decide where and when to get the fishes. Another possible application is that one related to basically use of Earth observation for instance, to detect where is the area of the planet or the area of your field that require more water than the other. So you can choose where to water your field, but also you can choose, thanks to this information, where to put your fertilization. This will reduce a lot the fertilization amount that is required, about 30%. So this was just an example of the possible application that could be used in space. By the way, our firm also manage other kind of financing programs. So you are kindly invited to join us and to talk with us to have more information on how to access these funds. And that's all. Many thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alessandro Mazza, and I'm a 16-year-old Italian student here at the American School of Milan. And today, I'd like to introduce the ideas of supply chains and food safety. So, in an ever-growing world where food safety, where food is our number 1 priority, food safety is often come under attack. So in an ever-growing world where food is often the most important part, the current supply chain may not always be able to keep up with the high standards of food safety that we want and need. Therefore, often farmers are under a great deal of pressure, and this pressure comes in the form of competition, and these may cause what are known as food crises and scandals. These scandals are often very hard to trace and to identify, and this is where the introduction of blockchains is needed. These blockchains will help with this problem of food safety. And when the well-being of humans, animals, and communities as a whole is put at stake, the introduction of blockchains is a necessary and innovative idea in order to increase food safety, transparency. Thank you very much for having me here.
$570 miliardi è il valore del business del food a livello mondiale. 570 miliardi di dollari che rappresentano il 70% del mercato del cibo a livello globale e che è gestito ed è in mano a soli 10 aziende in tutto il mondo, a fronte di 550 milioni di aziende agricole presenti sull'intero pianeta e molto spesso a conduzione familiare. Il 30% del cibo che arriva sulle nostre tavole è ancora anonimo. 60 miliardi di euro è il valore dell'Italian Sounding che gira nel mercato del cibo globale. Il 22%, anzi 22 miliardi di euro, è il valore delle agromafie che operano non solo sul nostro territorio nazionale ma anche a livello internazionale. E 2 centesimi al metro quadro sono i pochi spiccioli pagati ai minori che nei campi cinesi producono pomodoro che verrà poi esportato in Italia e venduto come prodotto agroalimentare italiano. È chiaro a fronte di questi dati che probabilmente oggi la sfida più grande di oggi e di domani e la prospettiva più importante, più necessaria e lungimirante da dover affrontare non è quella della produzione, ma è quella della redistribuzione. Redistribuzione di ricchezza, redistribuzione di strumenti, redistribuzione di qualità e dignità del lavoro, redistribuzione di gestione delle risorse e di tutela dell'ambiente. Una ridistribuzione che deve nascere necessariamente da un nuovo concetto, da una nuova idea di filiera, che sia equa, che sia giusta e che sia trasparente. Una filiera che venga sempre di più vissuta come strumento economico, ma anche come strumento culturale. Uno strumento che possa aiutare e valorizzare, a tutelare da una parte il lavoro delle imprese agricole coinvolte e dall'altra la libertà di scelta dei cittadini consumatori. Un strumento che possa tutelare e valorizzare di fatto un nuovo modello agricolo, fatto di prossimità, di tutela e gestione dei paesaggi, di tutela dei territori, di prossimità, di vicinanza alle comunità, di innovazione reale, concreta, che sia però di proprietà degli agricoltori e di tutta la società. Un modello agricolo fatto di gestione intelligente e utilizzo intelligente delle risorse naturali, un modello agricolo fatto soprattutto di impegno sociale, che è il modello italiano, un modello che ha già vinto, perché in Europa l'agricoltura italiana detiene tantissimi primati, dal numero di occupati per ettaro, dal numero di valore aggiunto prodotto per ettaro, come numero di giovani impiegati, come imprenditori, quindi titolari di impresa, ma anche come agricoltura più sana, più sostenibile, più durabile e più multifunzionale, non solo a livello europeo, ma interamente a livello mondiale. Un modello agricolo che quindi ha già vinto, ma un modello che opera in uno scenario che in realtà perde tutti i giorni nel momento in cui nella grande distribuzione, sugli scaffali della grande distribuzione arriva cibo prodotto con dentro l'omertà del capolarato legalizzato. Uno scenario che perde nel momento in cui l'informazione e la ricerca non sono né libere né indipendenti. Uno scenario che perde nel momento in cui pare che l'unica prospettiva possibile oggi siano gli accordi multilaterali di commercio, dove il cibo viene interpretato solo come merce di scambio fatto di prezzo e non di valore. Uno scenario che perde nel momento in cui la politica comunitaria ed internazionale non percepisce il reale valore intrinseco del nostro settore, dell'agricoltura e dell'agroalimentare, ma porta avanti delle scelte non politiche ma di comodo, dove il cibo è solo una questione di prezzo e di quotazioni. È chiaro quindi che in uno scenario del genere è necessario inventarsi, è necessario ripensare una filiera che sia sempre più trasparente e a disposizione degli agricoltori da una parte e dei cittadini dall'altra, una filiera ed un modello ed uno strumento che Coldiretti sta portando avanti in maniera del tutto pionieristica da circa 20 anni a questa parte, lavorando sull'etichettatura che sia sempre più trasparente, reale, concreta ed intuitiva, lavorando su una legge contro il caporalato, lavorando su una nuova legge che possa contrastare i reati agroalimentari, lavorando sulla creazione della più grande vendita diretta al mondo che si chiama Campagna Amica, che riunisce i produttori sotto lo stesso marchio, lavorando su un nuovo processo e un nuovo approccio che possa mettere in connessione i produttori con i trasformatori industriali e con la grande distribuzione grazie alla creazione di Filiera Italia. È chiaro, alla luce di tutto questo, che oggi la più grande sfida e rivoluzione innovativa non è la tecnologia pura, spicciola, non è la stampante 3D, ma è il ripensamento della filiera e il ripensamento di un nuovo concetto di trasparenza.
Complimenti. Boom. Allora, ci rivediamo con alcuni perché erano già qui ieri per un altro incontro e oggi però brevissimamente parliamo di etichettatura, di trasparenza, di quello che è un grande impegno di questo paese, l'Italia, perché l'Italia ha una grande cultura artigianale e nel cibo questo è fondamentale, ma soprattutto il nostro paese è il paese che ha il record della biodiversità naturale in Europa. L'Italia ha avuto un grande regalo, che è stato un regalo della geografia, perché dalle Alpi alla Sicilia abbiamo ecosistemi variegatissimi. Questo ha creato un'agricoltura che è l'agricoltura più biodiversa che c'è in Europa. Questo ci ha portato, grazie anche a una grande ricchezza culturale, una grande variabilità di prodotti. Ecco perché noi vogliamo a maggior ragione la certificazione dell'origine di tutti i prodotti. Cosa significa? Etichetta d'origine obbligatoria. È una cosa importante? Sì. Io quando ero ministro dell'agricoltura di questo paese ho imposto la tracciabilità e siamo riusciti a piazzare anche in sede europea il concetto del principio di precauzione. Cos'è il principio di precauzione? Che non puoi immettere nuovi prodotti o nuovi cibi sul mercato se prima non hai la certezza che non facciano male. Quindi non c'è il principio della sostanziale equivalenza, c'è un prodotto più o meno uguale all'altro, va bene, no, perché l'abbiamo già vissuto, l'avevamo vissuto all'epoca con la mucca pazza, avevano detto che allevare i bovini con le farine animali non creava problema perché era sostanzialmente non era dannoso. Quando esplode il caso della mucca pazza si capisce che è una cosa elementare, cioè quello che agli erbivori non gli devi dare mangiare carne, che potevano capire anche i bambini col sussidiario delle elementari, era invece un problema serio. A quel punto tutti gli scienziati, tutti questi geni che mi raccontavano e ci raccontavano, perché ero contro gli allevamenti intensivi, ci raccontavano che non era un problema, erano scomparsi. Nessuno di questi scienziati veniva a parlare quando chiedevamo le audizioni. Ecco, da allora, da una parte abbiamo stabilito che l'Europa vuole avere certezza seria sul cosa c'è dietro un prodotto, ma continuiamo a battagliare per avere l'etichettatura. Proprio recentemente la Commissione europea è riuscita a far approvare agli Stati una bozza di regolamento, che anzi è un regolamento che entrerà in vigore solo nel 2020, che dice che sì, bisogna etichettare tutti i prodotti, ma salvo quelli a marchio commerciale. Una presa in giro. Cioè significa che un prodotto artigianale lo devo etichettare, invece i grandi marchi delle multinazionali non devono dire se il grano viene fatto col glifosato o viene invece, per esempio, matura semplicemente al sole, come noi semplicemente prevediamo in questo bel paese. Allora, il tema è etichettatura d'origine obbligatoria di tutto e io aggiungo che servirà sempre più anche l'etichettatura di processo. Cioè io voglio anche sapere non solo da dove viene il prodotto, chi è l'agricoltore che l'ha fatto o l'allevatore, ma anche come è stato allevato, anche come è stato coltivato, non solo il biologico o non il biologico, le distanze da luoghi di inquinamento. Un campo vicino a una fabbrica inquinante è diverso da un campo che si trova in un'area con una grande capacità di gestione naturalistica. Quindi noi abbiamo bisogno di sapere, dopodiché possiamo scegliere. Quando abbiamo detto che vogliamo imporre l'etichetta sul grano, è chiaro che il grano canadese è fatto col glifosato, il grano italiano no. Se uno vuole il grano col glifosato, magari se lo compra, però deve saperlo. Io quello che non voglio è che chi fa e coltiva in modo naturale o in modo tradizionale o meglio innovativo, oggi potremmo dire invece che tradizionale, è equiparato a chi usa una serie di sostanze che per esempio in Italia sono proibite. Ecco perché anche in questo evento noi abbiamo, per esempio, nello stand di Coldiretti e Campagna Amica stiamo raccogliendo anche le adesioni a una campagna che si chiama Stop Cibo Falso o Stop Fake Food, perché vorremmo che nel cibo ci fosse la massima trasparenza. Ne va della nostra salute, ma ne va anche della qualità del lavoro dei tantissimi agricoltori, che molti sono giovani, che stanno innovando la capacità di avere un rapporto reale con il territorio. Ecco perché trasparenza, etichettatura significa garanzia per i consumatori, migliore qualità della vita e di gestione sul territorio, ma anche una grande opportunità per costruire una condizione di benessere vero. Noi siamo fatti di ciò che mangiamo, di ciò che respiriamo, di ciò che beviamo. L'attenzione alle cosiddette matrici ambientali del cibo è fondamentale e questo è il segnale che anche da una realtà come Seeds and Chips deve venire con chiarezza. Grazie.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm excited to be here in Milano. I was here for the Expo in 2015 and happy to be back discussing traceability, transparency, and what it meant to me on my journey as a food entrepreneur and bringing transparency and technology to my ventures and now to thousands of entrepreneurs around the US and beyond. So a little bit about me. I spent my summers in Alabama. I don't know if you guys probably don't know where that is, but I grew up actually in Chicago, home of the Obamas, largely a food hub now of the United States. But I have a family that comes from the farms of Alabama, and I grew up quite intrigued by chickens and peacocks in my summers, and focused on technology, STEM, as a youth just north of Chicago in a suburb where my parents wanted to keep me inquisitive and focused on becoming a scientist one day. And so that's what I did. I ended up graduating as a biologist and going on to work at the Obama White House for a couple years. At the time, I had just launched my first venture. This is actually me and the First Lady, Michelle Obama's garden. When I realized early on is that there were a lot of leaders coming through the White House and making a lot of decisions that weren't necessarily politicians at the time. And so I went back and decided that I was still going to be an entrepreneur, but focus on what I had went out to study. And that was biology and making people healthier. But at that time, I was hit with a very, very big realization that the food industry is much harder than just sitting in a lab and trying to solve problems in a different way. So both have major scale and major impact. But what I learned very early on, scaling up to over $1 million business in less than a year, was that probably 9 out of those 14 pineapples up there would go to waste in some way. And so that's really how I started my journey into transparency and traceability. I wanted to solve the problems that I was seeing, not only from our customers and consumers, but also from the waste that was happening within our supply chain, just within our business, within our juice company, every single morning. So I had one day a young woman that had been coming into our juice bar ask us where our items were coming from. And if you know, in Chicago, it can get very cold in the winter. I think this was February month. We had been buying most of our products, from what I thought, organically from California and locally from what we claimed. But one day she found that our kale was not organic in the box that came through. And subsequently, we had to throw out over 2,000 bottles of carrot juice because one person came down with the illness after drinking our juices, and we realized that they had just left the bottle out of the refrigerator in a hot, kind of heated car. And for me, that really brought up a lot of issues. Being a young 24-year-old entrepreneur that had gained somewhat of success within the media and within my community, I wanted to understand how I was running up against so many issues, but also what kind of technology I could use to not only trace where our products were coming from, better answer our customers, but make sure that we weren't losing any product just by trying to keep a safer product within our shelves and keep our customers healthy and safe. So what I began to do was research the vast agribusiness within the United States. And today, more than this number right up here, $2.1 trillion spent in the US alone, from farm all the way to our tables. Over 8 million businesses that are makers, farmers, local entrepreneurs, manufacturers and distributors operate in this interconnected web that is supported by over $180 billion a year in software, IT, and technology. And so I wanted to understand why there weren't any sufficient and easy tools that we could use within my juice bars to understand where our products were coming from and where they were going. And that's when I started to build my first software company, FoodTrace. And what we found very early on is businesses grow with traceability tools. You spend less time trying to understand what's wrong or could potentially go wrong with your product. You have tremendous growth in your sales and added market viability by just storytelling alone. I'm sure there are products that you've brought just because of the stories behind them, but also because you trust and you're enabled by either the labeling or the websites or the information that is valuable and added by that company. The quality of the products are better because you're able to make better decisions as a business owner. And the data is very valuable. And so what we set out to do was figure out how first we can make this easy for employers, employees, and for the consumers that were trying their products. So what we did was focus on data visualization, and that was through mapping. And so we were able to get over 53,000 locations with data from around the United States and Central America. And then we brought in over 81 supply chain experts, business leaders, farmers, makers, and procurement experts from places like Whole Foods to help us build out this infrastructure and understand what all this data meant. And one case study that I'll show you is with a company that went out to compete with some of our biggest delivery technology platforms, such as Grubhub, Instacart, even now Deliveroo. And this company wanted to solve some of the missing elements of the stories, but also finding quality products for the growing millennial and immigrant populations within the US. So if you go to the US, it's really hard to find a product from an African food store, from an Asian food store, some of these products that are needed for the over 70 million immigrants that buy food daily in the US alone. And so within this competitive landscape, and for the data that they were able to provide and to build out for their platform, they understood that they needed to go in and create a visual supply chain so that consumers could go and buy some of the foods within this large community of over 73 million immigrants, over a fourth of the population of the US, and have better data and access for tools to build these platforms. And so this solution was vast. They were able to build an ethnic food Instacart, Grubhub, if you will, and offer food items on the go, on demand, to a large and growing population. Products went up from $5 per order to over $70 now that they were able to connect better supply chain data to the actual background of the food and where it was coming from. Same thing with Journey Foods, which you'll see out in the Expo Center. How do you make the world's most traceable snack? And that matters a lot because people want to understand how they can get access to fruits and vegetables and superfoods that they either don't know anything about or have lost touch with. And so you're able to now see products and ingredients that come from all over the world with better supply chain tools and better data visualization. And so how we built this with a team of data scientists and food entrepreneurs and supply chain geeks and storytellers. Me, a second-generation farm kid, third-generation farm kid that grew up in an urban core looking to just understand more about my roots and my background. And now today that we have companies that really have a supply chain that's grown in a lab, you see like Impossible Foods, even with Finless Foods, where you're finding fish grown in the lab, you're finding meat and burgers grown in a lab. There are tools of the future that we'll be able to implement that we've understood that we can seamlessly integrate with kind of data from large partners like Google, but also the power of what's disrupting the industry now with the likes of blockchain. And so as we iterate on what the value of the stories and the data is behind traceability and transparency, and really my own story as an entrepreneur, as a cereal food entrepreneur, I value the data that we've been able to bring in. And with this data and with some of the background and what the over almost 54,000 locations, we have a comprehensive report that we've built out that will be available to all entrepreneurs, business owners, innovation centers alike to better build out the platform of traceability within your companies. And I'm very excited about that because as a young entrepreneur that scaled up a business very fast, I had no understanding of how to even break the ceiling into building a more traceable and transparent company. And now I'm happy to be able to provide those tools to entrepreneurs and to mentees around the country. So thank you for your time and look forward to connecting with you on more traceability.
Good afternoon. My name is Renato Grottola. I work for the NVGL, and I'm going to talk today about how blockchain is going to change and reshape supply chain. Let's start with a short description of the NVGL. We are a global quality assurance risk management company. We do a number of activities to ensure that companies are properly delivering, producing, manufacturing goods, products. So we are in the business of trust since 154 years. We are not a startup. And we are trying with this presentation to show and share with you what we are trying to do in order to disrupt part of our business model. Let's first start from the effect of what is happening on food chain. Today, food chain are linear, are complex, are often multi-tier, and are spread over geographies. This is a picture which you could find in literature that is describing the way today a food chain looks like. We have been involving our customer, in particular 141 professionals working in food and beverage companies on a worldwide basis, and we have been trying to involve them in searching for insight on drivers and pain points which are relevant for a sustainable supply chain management. And we got a few answers about these elements. Let's look. First of all, from our analysis, we realized that only few enterprises are able to go beyond Tier 1. So there is a problem in being able to illuminate the entire supply chain. In particular, only 28% of the interviewed company are able to go beyond Tier 1, and only 7% is declaring to have a complete penetration of any kind of sustainability-driven action across all tiers which are part of their supply chain. Who is looking for more sustainable supply chain? From our analysis, we discovered that 75% of cases, it's your own customer, your direct customer, that is asking for action about sustainability. The end consumer is also start creating this kind of push. In 38% of cases, our interviewed people were answering that the end consumer was pushing for sustainable supply chain action. 43% of people that were reporting push from regulator and authorities, and we even have, in 30% of cases, suppliers that are asking their own customer to show commitment about engagement towards a more sustainable supply chain. But in reality, what's happening today is something bigger and profound. We call it the fall of linear supply chain. As I said at the beginning of my presentation, the food chain today looks like a linear supply chain, like this one. And this is basically a paradigm that was linked to the age, the era of mass customization. Late 80s, beginning of 90s, this paradigm took place and has been basically driven the economy so far in all industries, including food. What is happening today is the convergence of a number of drivers, internal and external, that are challenging in a profound way the way supply chain looks like. From one side, we have a set of internal drivers, like, for example, all the technologies which are named under the brand of Industry 4.0 concept. But there are also other drivers. The burden of proof. You have to prove what's inside the product. You have to be much more transparent. It's up to you to prove to your customer, to your consumer, about how good, how safe a product is. Reputational risks are getting wider, and this is due to the increase of stakeholder. Product life cycle is getting shorter. Regulations are changing and are increasing in number. And there is the more for less paradigm which is dominating. On the other side, from an external point of view, we observe an enormous increase, an exponential increase of stakeholder expectations. A changing set of perceived value drivers, which are basically those that consumers are using in order to decide which product to buy. And linked to that, in parallel, we observe an increasing focus on non-functional characteristics of product. I call it from product features to storytelling. And last but not least, we have the rise of a new consumer, the omni-channel consumer. All these forces, all these drivers together are basically changing the way supply chain are looking like, moving from the concept of a linear sequence of interrelation between customer and suppliers into an ecosystem in which basically there are no longer stable relationships as it was in the past between a customer and a supplier. The multi-tier structure is going to be diluted. So it's very difficult, for example, to cascade and launch program if you are a Tier 1 supplier, for example. It's very difficult because you don't have any longer tiers. The frequency of relationship between suppliers and customer is increasing. The loyalty of the customer-supplier relationship is going to be basically disrupted. And this is having an impact on all kinds of supplier qualification programs. You have a much more availability of data, data that you could gather by using beacons, sensors, and things. So the IoT devices are providing companies with an enormous amount of data related, for example, to product. And this data could feed collaborative platform. The focus of activities, of assurance activities, is moving, therefore, from assessing process to verifying data. Consumers are looking more and more inside the product. And it's very important to be able to provide this visibility, this transparency, and to match this transparency with the perceived value drivers we were talking just a few seconds ago. In a few words, there are new trust gaps that needs to be filled in. And we believe that in this ecosystem, collaboration and even assurance on sustainability initiative, for example, could be granted by using blockchain. Now, probably you have heard many definitions of blockchain even today. I'm not able to provide you with a technical definition, but I would like to share with you a video of a friend of mine, who, by the way, is also the CEO of a blockchain platform, who is trying to give you an immediate definition, a simple definition of what blockchain is.
I have a way to describe what is blockchain, okay? So put yourself in a very specific scenario. You want to say, I love you to some girl, but you only say, I love you to the girl alone, without any witness. So that's actually a central system. Because once you wanted to deny what you said, nobody can endorse that, right? So if you want to say I love you to a girl with your friend as a witness, this we call the central system with a backup. So if you want to lie about that, like deny what you said, you also need to convince your friend to lie with you or lie for you. So that's a central system with a backup. So if you want to say, I love you to a girl, but with random and multiple witnesses, you don't know them, but they are all listening to you, that's blockchain. So if you want to deny what you said, but all of the random people will prove what you said, and you cannot deny that. So that's how blockchain works. Brilliant.
Okay, I tried to provide you with a definition. Thank you. Thank you. So I think this definition is much better than any kind of technical definition about what blockchain is, what is a consensus mechanism, what is the concept of a distributed ledger, and so on. But what is the most important things that blockchain is enabling? Blockchain is basically enabling the possibility to merge three flows that so far have been flying over supply chain, not together. And these are the value flow. The simplest value flow is the payment. The information flow. One example of the information flow are quality characteristics of a product. And the third flow is the physical flow. The product is moving from A to B, from B to C in an ecosystem. And what is the key of this merging is the ability to link to a product a digital identity. And when you do this, you create a new trust gap. Because if you put into a blockchain something which is not true related to the product you are trading, then you are able to make a lie an immutable lie. So there is a need to fill this new trust gap, which is key for future supply chain. And we believe we should play a role there. Another thing which I would like to share with you is that you very often, when you talk about blockchain, you link blockchain to traceability. That's true, but for me, for us, traceability is not the goal. Traceability is only a mean. A mean for what? A mean for linking through the digital identity to a product a number of characteristics which are relevant for the product and for you. And here we try to list a number of possibilities of data sets of information that are relevant for your supply chain that you could store and manage through a blockchain, through smart contract, using traceability just as a vehicle for carrying from farm to fork, from farm to fork today, from cradle to cradle tomorrow, all the information related to your product. To do that, we established a strategic partnership with the blockchain platform. The name of this blockchain platform is VeChain. We signed a strategic agreement in January, and the cooperation is flying off. It's moving on. We have been delivering a number of projects. I will just mention two here. The first one is done together for a retailer, a very big retailer in Asia, and it's about cold chain logistics. It's about making sure that ready-to-eat food is reaching the consumer in a safe way, making sure that the temperature is controlled and taken under control all over the process. And this is done by combining blockchain with the utilization of patented sensor. There is a second solution that we are testing, and we are particularly proud to say that this solution is tested here in Italy, and we call it My Story. My Story is our attempt to create a brand new digital assurance solution. Well, you probably have heard other similar things today, but this is about combining three features, basically. First, our supply chain knowledge and the physical audit activities we perform towards our customer, data collection across the entire value chain, and blockchain in one solution. To do basically three things: to bring more transparency across the entire supply chain, to use the data you gather to improve your process and to boost productivity. Third, to enhance the consumer experience by communicating trust on the products. This is just an example of what we are doing for wine. These are all the data sets we are collecting across the entire supply wine transformation process, from farming to marketing and sales. This process is ongoing right now. It's involving basically 4 Italian customers. The concept is quite simple. You will access the story of the product through a QR code. The QR code is linked to the digital identity which has been created, which is one-to-one matching the product. And by using that, you will have access to the entire story of the product, leveraging on the data I was showing just a few seconds ago. This solution is now under delivery. 4 customers have been involved in this first shot. The 4 customers are Chiarlo, Ricci Curbastro, Ruffino, and Torrevento. 4 different winemakers for positioning, geographical origin, and dimension. And we stay tuned, because the first My Story product is going to come. Thank you very much.
Eccoci. Buon pomeriggio a tutti da parte mia e da parte di Leonardo Mirone del gruppo Barilla, che ha accettato, spero volentieri e gentilmente, l'invito qui a Seed & Chips. Leonardo.
Grazie Nicola, Leonardo Mirone, direttore acquisti materie prime Barilla. L'invito di IBM è andato proprio bene per noi, abbiamo fatto un bel lavoro insieme, ora Nicola ve lo illustrerà. A dopo,
ok,
Nicola.
Allora, diciamo che effettivamente forse l'orario più indicato per questo intervento sarebbe stato l'ora di pranzo, perché noi parleremo di pesto, però ci tocca farlo ora, anche se è l'ora del caffè e del tè, va bene uguale. Parto io con 2 concetti fondamentali, quindi voglio introdurre il concetto di blockchain per il food e poi farvi effettivamente proprio realmente assaggiare quella che è la blockchain che con Barilla per Barilla stiamo costruendo sulla filiera del pesto. Partiamo quindi con, ne abbiamo parlato, se ne è parlato tanto oggi anche nell'intervento precedente, quindi blockchain, blocchi di informazione che quindi una volta scritti sono difficili, o meglio non è possibile modificarli, non è possibile manometterli e quindi rappresentano le transazioni tra membri e tra nodi della stessa blockchain. Blockchain possono essere aperte, siano accessibili a tutti, o come quella di Barilla, chiuse, accessibili soltanto ad alcuni membri. La nostra blockchain la deliveriamo in cloud con IBM, è una tecnologia che possiamo considerare oggi matura, 1000 transazioni al secondo, è una tecnologia stabile, che è tutta in open source con codice del consorzio Hyperledger. Questa tecnologia sta effettivamente stravolgendo il mondo enterprise, il mondo business, sta portando notevoli risparmi di tempi per la velocità delle transazioni, il reperimento delle informazioni sulle transazioni stesse, sta portando risparmi di costo perché disintermedia, perché evita duplicazioni di processo e sta portando anche una fortissima riduzione dei rischi stesso, in quanto scrivendo in un registro condiviso effettivamente è parecchio difficile, o meglio, è molto più probabile evitare frodi e manomissioni. Ma per il food noi abbiamo dal nostro osservatorio IBM, noi vediamo due grandi forze, quindi da un lato abbiamo i governi e le autorità che spingono per una sicurezza del cibo sempre maggiore, quindi spingono per migliorare quelle che sono le numeriche attuali su grossi numeri su decessi per contaminazioni alimentari o costo della stessa sanità per curare malattie da contaminazioni alimentari, e quindi anche o comunque governi che spingono per una produzione di cibo sostenibile. Dall'altro lato invece abbiamo il consumatore. Questo consumatore chiede sempre di più, chiede non soltanto provenienza, vuol capire come il prodotto, il cibo di cui si sta nutrendo è stato trasportato e in che modo è stato trasformato. Noi facciamo un esempio quando parliamo di blockchain con i nostri clienti, molto banale ma molto indicativo. Se prendiamo una semplice torta che acquistiamo al supermercato, questa torta può contenere del cioccolato svizzero, può contenere dei chicchi di caffè colombiani, può contenere il mascarpone italiano, può contenere la cannella indiana o vaniglia del Madagascar, può contenere di tutto. Si fa un calcolo, si arriva anche a più di 40.000 chilometri di tracciatura di alimenti per comporre una semplice torta che acquistiamo in un supermercato. Capite che l'argomento è complesso, ma se noi portiamo in blockchain su questa catena i vari attori, sono produttori, vedremo oggi, aziende agricole e alimentari, distributori all'ingrosso, distributori al dettaglio, trasportatori, consumatori stessi, enti autorizzativi, enti governativi, noi possiamo effettivamente creare quella disruption, quella trasformazione enorme. Vedremo, possiamo beneficiare di quei vantaggi che spiegherà Leonardo di trasparenza, tracciabilità, sicurezza e fiducia, e possiamo poi andare ad insistere nel nutrimento nel nostro cibo. Quindi possiamo dire che questa tecnologia potrà aiutarci o meglio, comincia ad aiutarci a vivere meglio e a vivere più a lungo. Ma questa tecnologia stiamo facendo una serie di progetti a livello mondiale con colossi come Walmart, con consorzi in cui abbiamo ingaggiato e stiamo lavorando con Nestlé e Unilever, ma parliamo qui oggi di un caso tutto italiano. Quindi con Barilla parliamo di pesto, e quindi smetto di parlare in termini teorici, anche perché si abusa molto di parlare di blockchain in termini teorici. Cercherò di farlo nel modo più semplice possibile, spiegandovi la sequenza di attori che lavorano sulla blockchain e le attività che vengono scritte all'interno della blockchain. Guardiamole subito. I nostri 4 nodi della blockchain sono i 4 attori, sono il farmer, Paolo, Dimitri, il trasportatore, Barilla, il produttore, e Claudia, che in questo caso è il nostro consumatore. Vediamo che cosa succede. Partendo dal primo, partendo da Paolo. Paolo compie 3 attività, semplificandole. Semina un campo di basilico in marzo, presso l'azienda agricola Il Basilico vicino Parma, procede a tutti i trattamenti di irrigazione e di fertilizzazione di questo campo stesso, e il 10 giugno comincia quello che si chiama tecnicamente lo sfalcio del basilico. Quindi
alle 6:30, perché il basilico si sfalcia al mattino, completa lo sfalcio. Ha fatto 3 azioni. Queste 3 azioni, con il supporto di device digitali e anche di localizzazione della posizione del farmer stesso all'interno dei vari campi che gestisce, vengono acquisite, vengono scritte e spedite all'interno della blockchain. Creano blocchi di informazioni. Vediamo che succede successivamente. Dimitri, il trasportatore. Il Dimitri alle 6:30, quando il basilico è stato sfalciato, arriva presso l'azienda agricola e comincia a caricare le varie ceste di basilico che sono state preparate dal farmer. Successivamente passa al trasporto delle stesse sul suo mezzo, quindi fa in 45 minuti 27 km per andare dall'azienda agricola allo stabilimento di Rubbiano di Barilla, per poi proseguire con il delivery e la consegna del basilico stesso. Anche in questo caso, device tecnologici, immagini catturate o anche gli stessi sensori di GPS che sono montati sul mezzo consentono di digitalizzare queste informazioni, spedirle e scriverle all'interno della blockchain. Andiamo ancora avanti. Siamo nello stabilimento di Robbiano, Barilla. Quindi responsabile controllo qualità, fa quality acceptance, quality control and acceptance, controlla la conformità della qualità del basilico agli standard richiesti da Barilla, ripone il basilico per un paio d'ore a una temperatura costante in una cella, in una stanza controllata a 5 gradi, fino alle 10, perché è il momento in cui il basilico diventa pesto con l'aggiunta degli altri ingredienti, e secondo la ricetta di pesto alla genovese di Barilla, il basilico diventa pesto in vasetto. Anche in questo caso sistemi ERP, sistemi dell'azienda Barilla, recepiscono queste informazioni, registrano, le scrivono nella blockchain. Ma questo perché? Perché serve questo? Serve a Barilla per continuare a creare la sua fiducia che ha nei confronti del suo consumatore, che in questo caso abbiamo rappresentato in Claudia, perché Claudia arriva al suo supermercato, inquadra il vasetto di basilico e può capire che questo basilico è stato coltivato in marzo da Paolo, dall'azienda agricola che si chiama Il Basilico vicino Parma, è stato sfalciato il 10 giugno alle 6:30, trasferito da Dimitri per 27 km in 45 minuti, ha passato il controllo di qualità alle ore 8 al plant di Robbiano e per 2 ore è rimasto al fresco e poi è diventato basilico. Questo è quello che è successo. Questo, naturalmente, ora siamo in una fase di pilot e con Barilla penseremo di arricchire questo flusso anche con degli step successivi, tra cui la stessa Claudia potrà postare, dopo aver gustato il basilico, potrà postare le sue informazioni sui vari social. Ma, per concludere, che succede se qualcuno non adempie la sua obbligazione contrattuale, che sono i cosiddetti smart contract montati sulla blockchain? Facciamo un esempio banale per rapidità. Cioè, se Dimitri, piuttosto che consegnare il suo basilico, parte in consegna in Toscana fino ad arrivare in Puglia e poi nella via di ritorno si ricorda di riconsegnare a Robbiano il suo basilico, che succede? Succede che in quel caso la sua movimentazione in GPS e il suo posizionamento è scritto in blockchain e quindi sarà Barilla a valutare se quel basilico può essere accettato o se piuttosto quel trasportatore deve essere sostituito o meno. Che ne pensi? Buona questa
Fantastico Nicola, penso che hai proprio raccontato in maniera semplice e chiara quale sarà il nostro pilota di quest'estate. Aspettiamo tutti quanti in Barilla il 10 di giugno, quando speriamo che il primo taglio non sia solo un taglio fisico ma sia anche un taglio sulla blockchain. Ma perché abbiamo scelto il basilico e perché il pesto e perché è importante questo progetto di Barilla? Perché partiamo dal fondo, vediamo tanti prodotti, vediamo un sugo con del pomodoro italiano d'agricoltura sostenibile, vediamo delle tagliatelle con delle uova prodotte da delle galline allevate a terra. Vediamo un pacco di pasta voiello che ha una unica varietà di grano coltivata in Italia con delle precise metodologie. Vediamo un pacchetto di biscotti, di macine con della panna fresca italiana. I consumatori credono a quello che noi diciamo, ma noi vogliamo che ci credano anche in futuro, per cui vogliamo essere sempre più sicuri che quello che diciamo sia provato. E sono 3 i grandi benefici che pensiamo di poter ottenere con l'applicazione di questa blockchain: trasparenza, tracciabilità e sicurezza di quello che facciamo. In particolare sulla trasparenza c'è un tema di raccontare ciò che succede nel campo e portarlo fino al prodotto, quello che ci ha raccontato Nicola prima. Già oggi lo facciamo, lo mettiamo sui siti web, abbiamo delle pagine ad hoc, però non c'è una prova dietro che dia la certezza al 100% a chi compra il nostro prodotto. Questo progetto potrebbe aiutarci a farlo. E potrebbe anche farlo con più efficienza, perché oggi è tutto molto cartaceo, è condiviso su dei siti internet, è condiviso con dei documenti, con degli audit, con delle verifiche, che ci fanno sentire sicuri, ma è complesso. Questo sistema potrebbe essere molto più snello. La tracciabilità perché? La tracciabilità, tutti facciamo tracciabilità di legge, però una tracciabilità più spinta può aiutare il punto precedente e soprattutto possiamo farla in anticipo. Se il nostro agricoltore, come ci ha raccontato bene Nicola, mentre taglia il basilico è geolocalizzato, sappiamo che veramente sta tagliando quel basilico là. Quel basilico che arriva l'ha fatto lui e l'ha fatto lui in quel campo. Quindi ho un controllo in più di tracciabilità e ce l'ho soprattutto in anticipo. Quindi avrò un grande supporto a ciò che dico al consumatore, al nostro storytelling. E speriamo che non succeda mai. Qui in giro c'è il nostro direttore della qualità e sicurezza alimentare Roberto, che spero non voglia mai usare quella riga lì. Se in ogni caso dovessimo avere un problema, speriamo invece che in settimane di poterlo fare in secondi, di individuare il problema in pochi secondi. Non vorremmo farlo, ma se dovesse succedere speriamo di farlo in pochi secondi. L'ultima è la sicurezza di quello che facciamo, nel senso di esserne completamente convinti. E uno dei grandi vantaggi potrebbe essere la prevenzione delle frodi più che la gestione, perché è chiaro che chi lavorerà con noi in partnership sulla blockchain, e i nostri fornitori hanno lavorato con IBM e noi insieme per progettarla, insomma, difficilmente gli verrà voglia di fare una frode se sa che è in blockchain con noi. E in più ovviamente tutto questo porta a un grande supporto a tutti quei brand che avete visto là sotto e a tutti gli altri brand che ha Barilla. Nicola, spero di aver aggiunto qualcosa di interessante a quello che tu hai detto e ti lascio concludere.
Certamente. No, voglio concludere con un messaggio finale che è il seguente, cioè chiunque degli invitati qui a Seed & Chips che presiede una filiera alimentare oppure un prodotto e quindi può effettivamente sfruttare tutti i vantaggi e i benefici che può darci la rivoluzione della blockchain, il mio messaggio è che è fattibile ed è fattibile anche in maniera molto semplice e molto agevole. Un progetto blockchain è un progetto fatto di 3 ingredienti fondamentali, c'è una scelta di una piattaforma, nel nostro caso si chiama IBM Cloud, ma è una piattaforma che serve per lo sviluppo, la creazione, la governance dei membri della blockchain e la gestione operativa della stessa. Primo. Secondo, serve un progetto che va a ridisegnare, a digitalizzare alcuni processi critici che sono all'interno della filiera sulla quale si va ad insistere. E terzo, è sempre un progetto che fa l'integrazione di questa blockchain con i sistemi attuali già esistenti nell'azienda, i sistemi sia di back-end sia di front-end. Ma, ultimissimo punto, questo è ancora facile, è ancora fattibile in maniera più facile perché, come abbiamo fatto per Barilla, possiamo adottare una metodologia che è quella che noi chiamiamo IBM Design Thinking per partire in maniera agile, in maniera rapida e produrre in 2 o 3 giorni un prototipo sul quale già lavorare e sul quale poi costruire ed investire successivamente per costruire una blockchain che coinvolga tutto il sistema. Io ringrazio ancora Barilla, ringrazio Leonardo.
Grazie Nicola,
grazie a voi per l'attenzione. Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Hi, I'm Stephen Croncoda, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Ambrosis. Ambrosis is a Swiss-based company which harnesses the power of the blockchain to secure traceability, transparency, trackability, trust, and truth on behalf of companies in the food and pharmaceutical industries. And I just recently joined Ambrosis. I was formerly the Chief Marketing Officer of Versace here in Milan, and I think I can safely say I'm the only person to have gone from Versace to the blockchain. So, in anticipation of today's presentation, I decided to take a look at some of the headlines in the news for the food industry. And as you've heard today, this industry is problematic. It's fraught with stories that come out about fish or chicken or eggs or olive oil, on and on and on. Even last week, lettuce and people dying from it. So there is a high degree of concern in food, and it's our job to address that. There has been a loss of trust and confidence in businesses and institutions, not just because of these stories in the media about food. There's certainly, as you know, sort of a general climate of it, but food is one of the most fraught industries for these particular issues. The result is that people are not just asking for transparency, honesty, accountability, and alignment with their values. They're really demanding it. And interestingly, when you look at transparency, honesty, and alignment with their values, those are the top 3 criteria that millennials use when picking whether or not they're going to buy your brand. And also, consumers want more involvement and say in the companies with which they're going to do business and spend their money. So, what can we do about it? Do we just throw up our arms and say the situation's hopeless? Not at all. But the solution is that companies do need the means to demonstrate that they are who they say they are, and they're doing what they say they're doing in the way in which they say they're doing it. And companies need to be able to prove to consumers that they're good global citizens, they're responsible stewards of the planet, and they treat with care and compassion all the living beings on it. So I know if you've been sitting in this room today, you've heard about all the challenges. If you're in the food industry, you know about the challenges. But a quick recitation of a few key ones. Counterfeiting. I come from the luxury sector. I know counterfeiting. Not only, if you're brand builders, you're going to spend an awful lot of money to create a brand that's meaningful to consumers. Counterfeiters can kill that in an instant. But also, there are very real concerns about where did that product come from, what's in it, could it hurt me? Product quality. Again, how was it made? What were the ingredients? Were they treated with care, sanitary habits? Did it ever come in touch with peanuts? Is it organic? Is it gluten-free? Just because they say it is, I don't know anymore. Traceability, that going back to the origin, the very beginning of the life story of the product. Is there a record of it? And last, supply chain efficiency, which is these days in companies, data and information lives in a lot of different places, and people typically only see some of it. If you are in an area and you're working with data, your boss probably has the data, maybe your underlings have the data, but does everybody involved in the product have the data? Not likely. So when I was writing this presentation, I thought, a lot of these people might not know what the blockchain is. I think at this point, you know what the blockchain is. But so I'll just, it is very essentially a series of records that are a transcription or a log of every person, event, instance that has happened during the entire life of a product. Importantly, it's permanent and it can't be altered. So it's really the most secure source of data that a company can acquire. But what makes it, for the food industry, what makes it particularly powerful and important? First of all, it's decentralized. So and again, this isn't a presentation on what is the blockchain, but we're happy to do that in follow-up meetings. But for your data, for the lifeblood of your business, it's immune to hacking, crashing, disasters, manipulation. It's cumulative. So every single thing that happened, and I'll talk about what that can include, over the life of the product exists in a real-time, verifiable format. It's transparent. So if you're authorized, no matter where you are in the life cycle of that product, you have visibility to it. But you can't change it. You can't go back and change something that already happened. And for the value-added part of the story, the blockchain and what you can do with it yields countless elements, attributes, and assets that can be used by all parts of the organization. And I think somebody was up here a little while ago talking about storytelling. To a marketer these days, in branding, storytelling is everything because consumers want to better understand and they want to feel closer to a product. For all the reasons we just discussed, Ambrosis blockchain provides countless opportunities for storytelling. So again, with the Ambrosis blockchain, you can see from even the planting of the seed, the birth of a cow, you can really go back to the genesis of that product and then all the way through to the very end until it ends up in the consumer's hands. And importantly, our blockchain platform does not require human input. So we have proprietary sensors. And the sensors, these are state-of-the-art, they can be put on the product itself, on the packaging, on the pallet, in the truck, in the warehouse, and all the time through the process, these sensors are collecting data. What's the light? What's the temperature? What's the GPS location? How much humidity was there? Did anybody touch it? Did anybody tamper it? All of these are taking in data, analyzing the data, and sending it back out to the blockchain. So when we talked about needing to take action if there's a problem, nothing allows you to take action more quickly anywhere in the life cycle of the product. But for all the other things we discussed too, including counterfeiting and quality control, it's all there in the record, and it's being transmitted by the sensors. Anti-counterfeiting, there was a seminar that some of you may have seen a little earlier this afternoon, but you might be using one of the means of anti-counterfeiting on the left side of the screen. And what you probably heard in that presentation is they're all flawed. And so they cannot guarantee the complete integrity and verifiability all the way through the process. This can. So I'm going to just give you an example of if you were to use the Ambrosis platform, the kind of outputs your company would be getting in various formats and how you might use that. First, apologies to all vegetarians and vegans in the room, but we can do this with vegetables too. Next year I'll come back and do it with a vegetable. However, since beef is a food product that can have issues during its life cycle, we use that. Now, first of all, you might see with beef the basics. How is it being stored? When did it arrive? What's the composition of the meat? But do a little bit of a deeper dig, and you can see, you go through all the way on the left side, what farm did it come from? What are the agricultural protocols on that farm? Is it organic? Do they use pesticides? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of that pops up based on a package. All the way to the right, where you can see when it finally comes to the retailer, you can look and it will tell you when you hold up or look at the blockchain where in the store that piece of meat currently is, whether it's out in the refrigerated container, where it's back in cold storage, where if it's still coming in and receiving. So you have that kind of close sense of your products and where they exist even on the store floor, and obviously where and when they were purchased and taken away by the consumer. You not only have just a little bit of information on the package of meat like you currently do, maybe what's right on the sticker up front, but again, countless amounts of data about the farm, about the cow, about when it was born, what it ate, veterinarian exams, et cetera, on and on and on to make great decisions. And then it all comes to your iPhone. So wherever you are, farm, transformation, production, or in the shop itself. With a very easy app, you can find all the information you need in real time as it has happened or as it is happening. Ambrosus, I just want to say also, we're an early stage company, but we've been very lucky to have sponsorship and partnership with the United Nations, some of the most prestigious research universities in the world, as well as state governments. And we work very hard to keep their trust and confidence. So, in closing, I think we can now all look forward to a better tomorrow. The consumer and your retail clients want greater transparency, want greater reliability. We at Ambrosus, with our blockchain platform, are creating an ecosystem of trust and truth. And I think together we can truly restore global trust in food. So because trust takes years to build, seconds to break, and forever to repair. So let's not make that happen. Thank you very much.
So, good evening. I am Mario Caironi. I am from Italian Institute of Technology, Istituto di Tecnologia. And today I would like to talk to you about edible electronics, basically what you see in this slide. So it's the meeting between food and electronics. This is a strawberry with on top a circuit with transistors, the same devices we have in our smartphones, but made with different materials that are compatible with ingestion. And you see that this circuit is almost imperceptible and conforms to the food. So in order to show you how we make this, let's take a step back. So first, we make use of printed electronics. We work and we study and we develop functional materials which have electronic properties that we can process in the form of inks. And we use scalable tools, printing tools. You see desktop tools that we use in the lab and industrial tools that we use with our collaborators, companies, in order to transfer this kind of electronics, printed electronics, to the fabrication of circuits which are made in shapes and forms which are very different from standard electronics we are used to. So these devices, these circuits, are lightweight, bendable, transparent, and therefore you can use them in ways which are not accessible to standard electronics, sometimes because of costs, for example, cost reasons. This is an example. For example, we can take, with the same material, we can print an energy supply, a solar cell. You see it there, that red ribbon that you see there, and we can use it in order to power, with artificial light, our printed circuit. In order to do what? Maybe to drive a simple display, an electrochromic display, which is still printed, and make, for example, these kind of things. We can integrate into a static label, a dynamic label, which can do something. Okay? In this case, it's a blinking text. We thought about this because of marketing. Okay, this is one of the reasons. But as soon as you can make these devices, which do not introduce special waste, there is no battery here, it's all plastic, it's all recyclable, you can make a static label printed with tools that we all know, dynamic, and add new functionalities. For example, from marketing, you can think of developing anti-counterfeiting devices. Yet, as we heard already today, it's different from tracking the packaging, from tracking the food. So we thought, can we do something more? And trying to get rid of the packaging and develop something that could go directly into or onto food. So we basically looked at different inks. And we looked at inks that could be printable, edible, and make electronic functionalities. We have conductors. And we know, for example, that silver and gold have been used for food garnish for centuries. dielectrics, we have perfect printable dielectrics like albumin or shellac. We already eat shellac. And for semiconductors, which are the active part of circuits, we looked at natural dyes, which we already eat, or some synthetic dyes that can be processed in the same way as the other materials here. Then the approach was to take tattoo paper, exactly the same tattoo paper the kids used to transfer temporary tattoo on the skin, because this tattoo paper can release, when we dissolve the starch, which is on top of paper, release a very thin cellulose layer, which is perfectly edible. We can eat it. And we printed our edible inks on top of this tattoo. Then what comes next? Well, we transfer, as you see also in the going video, the tattoo by using water, dissolving the starch, onto the edible object. And it could be basically now whatever object, because we are decoupling the fabrication of our complex circuits from the complex surface, non-planar surface of our edible object. And the edible and the ethyl cellulose is so thin, it's 200 times thinner than a human hair, can perfectly conform to the surface. So it can go onto pharmaceutical pills, for example, or onto various kind of foods. And regarding the material, basically 99% of what we are transferring onto food is cellulose, perfectly eatable. Then there is some silver, well below our RDA. And then there are, in a concentration which is billions of times less than silver, some active materials, which are carbon-based and biocompatible. Okay? And with some nutritionists, we are now studying the nutrition properties of these materials and what happens during the digestion. So for these active circuits that we are developing are now, will be the active part of complex systems that we have on board batteries, edible batteries, which are developing around the world. Like an edible battery can be a galvanic cell, a zinc and copper, perfectly edible. Edible antennas. And so to make a complex system that we can use to interact with. To do what? Well, we could use these circuits and systems on top of pills to do, for example, controlled drug release, or for patients' compliance when we put them on pills. If we put them on food, we can use them for food quality monitoring, for traceability, and for inherent counterfeiting, because the anti-counterfeiting, sorry, because the counterfeiter would have to develop some active technologies which is compatible directly onto food in order to counterfeit that item, which is too costly for him. And the dream, since we have an object with an edible object with integrated electronics, we can go into the body and have a different perspective in order to monitor, for example, a patient's status of health. And going on, we could reach the GI tract, for example, and look for antibiotic-resistant bacteria, for example. So this ends my presentation. And if you want to know more, please do get in touch with me. You see the contacts here. And thank you very much for your kind attention.
Under 30.
Hey, Seasoned Chips, how you doing? And a warm welcome to the community that's following this over the live stream. Let me just start off to say that we're very, very pleased to be here this year again. Just walking around the halls downstairs, seeing all the innovation happening in the space, it really makes you feel optimistic about the future of the food industry. My name's Tomasz, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about Origin Trail. Origin Trail is, as we've said in our vision statement, is not a company, it's an ecosystem that is introducing a new way of brokering trust in supply chains, in this increasingly more and more complex supply chains. So I feel like I'm preaching to the choir here, but you're pretty much aware that within the food industry we have huge complexities when it comes to following supply chain traceability and tracking. And all of these complexities are making the supply chains and the information sharing very limited, and the supply chain is very opaque. So there's no transparency or visibility end to end. Just if you'll need anytime a number, Lockton made in research in 2017, and 32% of manufacturers, the executives there, weren't able to guarantee the authenticity of the ingredients that are used, or that their ingredients in the final products aren't fraudulent. Which means that it's not just the end customer that's left out, it's also there's no transparency within the supply chain itself. So we started working on that around 2011, and here you'll see a video that was made by one of our customers. What we enabled here is really the, there's also sound. We enabled them to show where the farms for each and every one of their products that gave milk for a particular batch, for a particular product that the consumer held in hand, so which farms were involved, where did the milk come from. So with that, they could build up more trust in their products, and we did that without altering the product itself, because that's really difficult with large batches. But then again, we got the most common question, which was a fair one. How can we, or the consumers, trust the information that we are providing? At the end of the day, it's our database. We can change if we wanted to. Of course, we didn't. But the question is nevertheless pretty valid. And when we're looking at the technological responses to this question, blockchain and decentralization really made a lot of sense. So we're really excited about it. We started playing around. And with it, we started storing the cryptographic hashes of the data that we received onto Ethereum. With that, we were able to always prove that we haven't altered the data. But we felt that there's quite a bit more, or we wanted to do more with decentralized technologies than just store the hashes onto the ledger, because once you start thinking within the decentralized logic, you realize that, especially for the supply chain use case, there's a lot more you can do in a way that you can alter the way we think about trust, or how businesses are making trust amongst each other. So we were really, excited about the technology. We did the first tests. We can do something, and then when we wanted to go forward, we realized that, well, blockchain just isn't a silver bullet yet, because it's quickly becoming expensive, or you have other limitations where you cannot really do all of the things that you might want to. So, all right, so which are the clear, kind of the most important challenges that we tackled and that we believe that needs to be solved? I think you've seen some similar kind of graphics also before. The data gets, it's a lot of fragmentation of the data within the supply chains. A lot of it, or most of it, is trapped within the silos of every single organization. Even the regulation only requires you to know from who you bought it and to who you sold it to, but you can't see beyond that. So there's very clear kind of walls setting up. Like I mentioned, the decentralization itself has a lot of kind of challenges because it quickly gets either expensive, or you don't have all the properties that you would like to have in a particular network. So, okay, we said, what can we do to alter that? We came up with a middleware that replies to exactly those problems or challenges. So we still have blockchain as the base layer. Is there for security and for keeping the hashes. But the main thing that we're focusing on is the decentralized network that sits between the blockchain layer and the application layer. With this protocol that we created, which has two parts, so the data layer would correspond to the challenge of the data interoperability. So you are able to have standardized data sets exchanged between different parties, as well as you would have database properties. The network layer ensures that it's still completely decentralized. So even though the protocol itself is not a blockchain, it's not an on-chain, it still has all the properties. And once you have that, you can do beautiful things like this. So you can do interoperability consensus checks. So this is cross-referencing checks between different entities in supply chains, which are happening all across the network, without the need to have a certain authority performing those actions. And this, if we do this correctly, what we come up with is a single version of truth. And this is something that can be really powerful. So we selected 2 cases that we're going to be looking at here. The first one is a case of Yumi Shiji. So the founder of Yumi Shiji was actually at Seasoned Chips. I hope you got to see her speak. She's really charismatic. And what Yumi Shiji does is they're an online grocery store that allows you to purchase quality organic produce in Shanghai. So what we did with them, and this is how we trialed our alpha network, was really to set up accountability or set up visibility from their suppliers to the end customer. So the end customers could check where the products they're buying are coming from. But then the next steps is really setting up accountability, where you can do more automated quality control methods, because it doesn't have to be so much handwork, so much manual work, because you do have a automated way to check certain things. And then product safety by including certain sensors, so you get more objectivity to the data. So yeah, here I guess, yeah, let's quickly run through that. It's just a user interface that's going to show in a little bit more technical terms how things are working. Bam, bam, you would select an expiry date. Again, there's no need to interact with the protocol. And what we'd see here is, because in the alpha network, the data is still stored centrally, that it hasn't been changed. So it should say blockchain verified. It takes a little bit of time because, well, it's slow. And bam, there we go. So you have all the ticks, but then you could also go into events and then check what has happened at any given stakeholder. So this is published on our Medium post. You can go, you can check, you can dwell into all of our cases. So you can really, you can read more about what we do and how we set it up. Yeah, so here you have a location where they are, and we'll skip on to the next one. So yeah, then the next case I wanted to share a little bit more about is the Huang Wu Laboratories, which are based out of Vietnam. A great project. So Henry, who's the CEO and founder, moved back to Vietnam out of Stanford, where he invented the engine within the mass spectrometry machines. So now they set up a big laboratory with 40 scientists working there. But the problem that is still there, or the challenge that they wanted to overcome, is really data integrity of the results that they're producing. And they really haven't a clear intention of wanting to open up those data sets so that even their customers can use that data when they're talking to either retailers or others, and this is done for the food sector, obviously. So the challenge is data integrity. The solution was really to connect different systems together on all important stuff. So on the test, on the machine, and on the scientist level. And the outcome is really when you have the integrity of the data you're looking at towards either the producers or the retail. Yeah, so like I mentioned in the beginning, the Origin Trail it's an ecosystem, so it's not a company as such. It's open source. The technology itself is very, very complementary, so it can fit or it can perform different tasks in many different settings. It gives you scalability with data scalability in a decentralized way, which is something that we hadn't seen before. And any companies that might be working with our stakeholders in supply chains, service providers that are building or creating applications on top, hardware providers, even if they're doing sensors or things like that. The development community within the blockchain space or outside, we're very, our releases are also published, so you can engage there. And we even have some knowledge-centric entities, like universities joining in to do certain cases together. Here are a couple of our recognitions and awards we've received lately. So our current cases are really spread out globally. So the Trace Alliance interest is over 100 and, well, in our quarterly report, we said more than 120 companies that expressed interest that they want to come in. We basically have an overload inbound. So we're trying to create useful settings where technology can really make sense and create actual value. And this is really what we're about. So if you want to join, I think that's the message we would like to say is, let's come, let's work together and see what we can do. And by the next year on Seasoned Chips, I hope to be here again. I hope that blockchain and decentralized technologies are going to have an even larger spot in the whole thing, and that the food industry is going to be better off because of the work that all the companies are doing in this space. Thank you very much for your time.
Buonasera. Noi siamo un'azienda italiana nata circa 40 anni fa per il software, un'azienda di software che da 25 anni si occupa di controllo degli alimenti, controllo dell'industria alimentare mediante la tecnica dei raggi X. Facciamo macchine a raggi X che ancora oggi come tecnologia è l'unica tecnologia conosciuta e affidabile per trovare particelle di corpi estranei all'interno delle confezioni alimentari. Dialog è un'azienda, appunto, è nata come software house negli anni 80 a Torino. Abbiamo la capogruppo, che è un SPA di circa 1000 persone, e noi siamo la divisione high-tech dell'azienda. Poi siamo suddivisi in diversi settori all'interno. La nostra parte si occupa esclusivamente del controllo degli alimenti e dell'industria farmaceutica. Questo è il gruppo Dialog. Il core business di Dialog è esclusivamente software gestionale, software di analisi di immagine, che è quello poi che facciamo noi. Dialog è la società, Dialog High-Tech è la società del gruppo dedicata alle applicazioni a raggi X, nata nel 96. Conta circa 30 dipendenti, ha più di 2000 macchine a raggi X installate nel mondo, ha un portafoglio di macchine che copre tutte le tipologie di prodotti e le tipologie di clienti del settore, dalla piccola industria alimentare alla grande industria alimentare. Ecco qua. Ok. La tecnologia raggi X comincia a prendere piede alla fine del XX secolo come alternativa più performante rispetto al metal detector. Inizialmente si diffonde nei paesi anglosassoni dove le associazioni dei consumatori sono molto forti ed è connessa a doppio filo alla grande distribuzione organizzata e alle grandi multinazionali del food e il beverage. Dialog High-Tech inizia la sua attività a metà degli anni 90 come start-up e le prime macchine sviluppate da Dialog erano dedicate all'ispezione di vetro e lattine, che è un settore particolare dell'industria alimentare. Dal 96, quindi sono 22 anni che ci occupiamo di controlli da raggi X. Cosa è successo in questi ultimi anni è che sia il costo che la tecnologia sono diventati, diciamo, abbordabili per quasi tutte le aziende del settore alimentare, in quanto il costo si è ridotto di molto. Riducendo il costo abbiamo aumentato molto il portafoglio delle aziende alimentari che potevano accedere a questa tecnologia, e oggi la tecnologia raggi X compete con i metal detector per il controllo di gran parte delle linee. Dialog High-Tech offre un portafoglio di macchine completo, cioè alcuni concorrenti si occupano solo di una particolare tipologia di prodotti. Noi riusciamo con le nostre macchine a ispezionare un po' tutti i prodotti, dai prodotti in vetro, in lattina, in prodotti flessibili, prodotti in banda stagnata, prodotti sfusi. Le macchine raggi X si dividono più o meno in due grossi settori. Macchine verticali, cioè che noi chiamiamo macchine a tappeto, sono macchine dove il prodotto in genere corre lungo un tappeto e c'è un raggio verticale a raggi X che genera l'immagine sul sensore messo sotto il nastro su cui passa il prodotto. Poi ci sono le macchine a raggio orizzontali, sono macchine a vasi o side shooter, cioè con l'ispezione che avviene lateralmente. Abbiamo sviluppato negli anni dei brevetti che ci consentono di vedere un prodotto verticale con due viste ortogonali, migliorando notevolmente i risultati dell'ispezione. Niente, le macchine a vasi sono verticali, sono con proiezione a raggi su un piano orizzontale, perché in un prodotto come un vaso di vetro non è possibile una vista top down, cioè non è possibile una vista dall'alto verso il basso. Macchine quindi sono molto diverse, diciamo che noi abbiamo almeno 9-10 tipologie di macchine diverse. Come funziona in modo molto veloce, giusto per darvi un'idea? Le nostre macchine funzionano un po' come le macchine usate negli aeroporti, dove però l'ispezione che negli aeroporti viene fatta da una persona umana, da una persona che decide se il prodotto è inquinato o meno, nel settore alimentare non avviene così, cioè c'è tutto l'image processing che c'è all'interno di queste macchine consente al software della macchina di decidere in autonomia se il prodotto è da scartare o no, e la velocità è altissima, cioè noi riusciamo a ispezionare fino a 1200 prodotti al minuto, e con 1200 prodotti al minuto si decide real time se il prodotto è da scartare o meno dalla linea. Avviene un'elaborazione, poi c'è un'interfaccia grafica che consente all'operatore di determinare parametri di elaborazione, e vengono fatti dei report, c'è tutta una reportistica sui risultati dell'ispezione. Il nostro software è comunque in continuo aggiornamento, e uno degli obiettivi di questa fiera per noi era anche di conoscere potenziali partner per lo sviluppo di nuove idee. Cioè noi investiamo tantissimo in ricerca e sviluppo, ed è nostro interesse conoscere possibili nuovi partner che abbiano delle idee migliorative o alternative alla tecnologia raggi X che usiamo da tanti anni. Noi abbiamo una forte esperienza nel campo dell'image processing, e per noi l'ideale sarebbe trovare dei partner, delle nuco, delle start-up, eccetera, interessate a sviluppare con noi dei prodotti per l'industria alimentare, per migliorare sempre di più il livello di affidabilità e di ispezione del prodotto alimentare per eliminare la presenza alla fine di corpi estranei e componenti nocivi per la salute del consumatore. E niente, questo è il nostro lavoro, e il nostro obiettivo sarà quello nei prossimi mesi di trovare idee alternative e possibili aiuti da chi fosse interessato a sviluppare qualcosa. Grazie, buonasera a tutti. Grazie a voi.